Thank you. I didn't get my equipment ready, but I will. So while I'm doing this, would you just look at the person beside you and say, you were born to shine? Get the person on the other side. And now say, Happy New You. Happy New Me too. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, I could just tell you, I was in Canada from the 25th until the 1st, visiting my mom, and my sisters and my niece was there from Vancouver. It was a good connection time. And one of the funny things that happened, my mom takes, it's a little difficult for her to say what's on her mind. And she'll start something, then go, no, and it won't come out or it won't come. Anyway, my sister from Calgary left the day before I did. And so we were all there visiting my mom in her room. And she kept saying to Cheryl, remember, I love you. She said it 4 or 5 times, remember that I love you. And I thought, oh, that's so nice. That's so good, Mom. And then the next day when I was leaving, she didn't say that. She said, make sure you tell your community, thank you for letting you come. But I was waiting for, remember, I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I had a wonderful time. It was good to see my mom and et cetera, and so good to be home and very excited about our year and what we can do. As Reverend Judy said in her opening prayer, this is an opportunity to really let go of the past, to really start again and let this year be what you envision it to be. I'm very excited. Most of you know this already. We've been talking about it for several weeks, that I'm one of at least 125 centers that are doing the same thing for the whole year. We have the same theme. It'll be so interesting to go to other people's websites and see what they've done with the theme, with the talking points, etc. And if I ever get my equipment to work, oh, there we go. So our global vision is a world that works for everyone. And I wanted you to see what the global vision was. And if you go to the back of the room, don't do that now. After the service, you'll see it's written out. Vanna Dave Friedman is showing you where it is. Anyway, I'm going to just go through it with you. Okay. Maybe this way. Maybe not. Yep. So it's a global vision, a world that works for everyone. And as I was thinking about this, I've got the whole vision here somewhere. Are you advancing it, Mary? Okay. Because you can't? Yeah, I think you need to because this is a little frustrating for everybody. I was thinking about this and thinking about a world that works for everyone. And when we think of that, and I really want all of us to spend some time thinking about what does that mean? What does it mean for you, a world that works for everyone? You know, as I was thinking about it, I thought, well, I could put on this slide a whole bunch of pictures of me because most of us think that way. A world that works for everyone is a world that works for me, right? A world, because we tend to think that everybody thinks like me, or if they don't, they're wrong. They're not wrong. They're just different. And a world that works for everyone is a world that respects all different points of view. A world that says yes to all kinds of different people and lifestyles and ages and trends and communities, et cetera, and religions. So, okay, so we see a world, I think I have to do that, a world that works for everyone where all life is honored as expressions of the divine, where people live according to the spiritual truth, where humanity awakens to its spiritual magnificence. Next slide, please. Okay, where humanity discovers personal creative power, where we live as one global family, where kinship with all life prospers, where unity and connection is emphasized, where forgiveness is the norm. Next slide, please. Where spiritual guidance is valued, where we are called to conscious social action, where people have enough food, homes, and sense of belonging. Next slide, please. Where there is peace, harmony, and justice for all, where resources are valued, cared for, and shared, where communities are meaningfully involved in service to the world. Next slide. Where there is a renewed emphasis on beauty, nature, creativity, art, and aesthetics. Next slide, please. So, from the Declaration of Principles, Ernest Holmes said this: we believe the ultimate goal of life is the complete emancipation of all discord of every nature, and it is sure to be attained by all. So, how many of you were here for the global peace meditation? Okay, you're all sitting sort of along my eyesight too. Oh no, some of you aren't good. So the whole idea of that global peace meditation is say we can make a difference by joining together with like-minded people all around the world, and by envisioning a world at peace, a world that works for everyone. So Ernest Holmes is saying we envision a world where everyone will be free of any discord of any kind. Wow, that would be quite amazing, because the place that peace needs to start is, of course, in you, just like it's has to start in me, which means there can't be reactiveness when your mom doesn't say, "Remember, I love you." Right? Where there isn't reactiveness when someone hurts your feelings, or when an unkind or thoughtless word was spoken. It means that instead of reaction, anger, and judgment, we learn consideration, kindness, collaboration. We learn to accept what is. Okay, next slide, please. I love this slide. I've shown it to you before, but so often you could see there's anger here. There's reaction. But complete emancipation of discord means that there's no discord. Doesn't mean that we'll all have the same opinions. No, we can't possibly have the same opinions and still be independent thinkers. It would be very boring if we did. It would be a very, very boring world. Next slide, please. We're giving birth to the next great spiritual impulsion of the world. And for the first time in history, free from dogma, fear, superstition, materialism, and all that is built on ignorance and the denial of God. This was Ernest Holmes, the first great spiritual impulsion. And I found this picture, and you see all these people. In the very middle, you see an Arab and a Jew speaking together in communication and collaboration, where we let go of the ideas of the past that didn't serve us and don't serve us any longer. Next slide, please. Is there a next slide? Next slide, please. The universe is a spiritual system now in such degree as any of us bears witness to his/her mind, to the divine fact, the tomb is open and the dead come forth. Philosophy of Ernest Holmes, page 137. So what he's saying here in his wonderful metaphor about Jesus rising from the dead, he's saying that when we know what we know, when we know that by planting an idea in mind, it must bear fruit, it must come into expression. He's saying that when we know that, all manner of good things happen, including the dead rising. including everything that you could imagine for your greater good. But it doesn't start out there. And we're forever looking out there for our solutions. It starts in here. It starts within each one of us, first of all, knowing that we're worthy of good, that there's good for us and we deserve to have it, we ought to have it, and we're going to have it. And then continually planting the seeds for good in our lives. If there's any work involved in the spiritual activity, it's the constant planting of those seeds. It's the constant knowing the truth. And whenever you're challenged because someone else has not awakened to their own magnificence, nor to yours, whenever you're challenged, it's just a call to you to live to keep planting those seeds, to keep planting peace seeds, to keep planting prosperity seeds, to keep planting health seeds, to keep knowing the truth for you, for your loved ones. I believe that is what creates a world that works for everyone. Next slide, please. I love this. These two kids are planting. They're planting in an egg carton, and then they'll take those seedlings and plant them again. And that's kind of what we do. It's the wonderful metaphor. Next slide, please. So this is also Holmes, also from the philosophy of Ernest Holmes. The transformation takes place here. You don't have to wonder if it will take place out there. The world will come when enough of us see through the night into the celestial light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. What he's saying is, this group of people could make a difference, any group of people. Where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am, said Jesus the Christ. And we meant the consciousness of oneness, the consciousness of that spiritual power is available right then and there. You don't have to wonder if it's taking place. You need to know the passion you have for the truth and absolutely refuse to speak anything negative. Now, I'm not telling you this is easy. It isn't easy because there are going to be people that challenge you. There are going to be people that you think, what on earth are they thinking? But your job isn't to react and say, what on earth are they thinking? What on earth are those unkind, miserable words? Your job is to neutralize those words in your mind and plant new seeds. Keep planting seeds of cooperation. Keep planting seeds of plenty, of prosperity, of health, and refuse to do anything else. Many years ago, one of the first things I ever heard a spiritual teacher and a speaker say is, when you hear something negative, take your hand like this and go, cancel, like you're making an X. Cancel, sweep it away. Let's do that together. Cancel, sweep it away. Okay, now you know when you're watching TV, cancel, sweep it away. If it's not the truth, you don't have to give it anything more than that. It's not gaining entrance into your consciousness. Cancel it. Next slide, please. The global vision is a world that works for everyone. So those of you who were here for the meditation know that what I did was I invited you to think of your highest vision, not to think of it, but to let it come to you. Let divine mind tell you, show you, give you hints about 2016. You can do this on your own. There's a paper in your program that you can take with you and think of what is it that I want to start 2016 as. And even if you start it as yourself, once you take it into meditation, you're listening for the voice of God, you'll be directed. Is there more than this? Is this only a part of the vision that I have, or is there more? I want to recommend to you a website that I found through my niece, who's a new lawyer in Vancouver, and she's one of those lawyers that's good one. She's a good one, and she turned me on to this website called Humans of New York, HONY. Anyone know it? Oh, good, 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 good. It is a fantastic website. And what happened was in 2010, this gentleman lost his job and he decided that what he really wanted to do was he wanted to understand the people who lived in New York. And so he started to take pictures and capture their stories. And I challenge you to go to that website and find a story that doesn't open your heart. Every person, their potential within us to see the good, to see the behind the story. What's the divine activity attempting to come forth? It's a fabulous little website. And it's interactive. And what he says about it, he says, because he's had a great fan base, and he says what he thinks happened is people have turned from cynicism to compassion. And so they listen to the stories, watch or read the blogs with compassion. It brings forth more compassion. Like attracts like. So all of you being compassionate beings, I know that when you go to that website, you will find something that stirs you and moves you. Says, yes, this is great. This is wonderful. So this is a great day. And just a little something about visioning compared to goal setting. If you have the Science of Mind magazine, there's a great little article written by the editor, David Goldberg, and he explains what the differences are. And he says, well, you can also do vision boarding, but visioning requires you having an idea that comes from within, and you don't know how to get there. It's a God idea. It's a big idea. And you personally don't know how to get there. If you knew how to get there, you could call it a goal and you could do it. Just simply do it. But the difference between a vision and a goal is you don't know the ways and means. None of us here know exactly how to create a world that works for everyone, but we can envision it. We can envision a world that the majority, the supermajority, as Dr. Ken Gordon says, the supermajority is blessed to know that this world is working for us. Make it significant. Make this Sunday significant. Get in touch with that vision that's calling to you and make a decision this year is going to show the world who you are spiritually. That you are this being, spiritual being, having a magnificent human experience because you know who you are and how to deal with this thing called life. Reverend Patty did such a great job last Sunday having conscious completion for the year of 2015. So now my challenge to you is just as conscious intention, vision, moving forward into 2016. I'd like to close by reading one of my favorite David Whyte poems called The Opening of Eyes. He says this: "That day I saw beneath dark clouds and passing light over the water, and I heard the voice of the world speak out. I knew then, as I had before, life is no passing memory of what has been, nor the remaining pages of a great book waiting to be read. It is the opening of eyes long closed. It is the vision of far off things, seen for the silence they hold. It is the heart, after years of secret conversing, speaking out loud in the clear air. It is Moses in the desert, fallen to his knees before the lit bush. It is the man throwing away his shoes as if to enter heaven, and finding himself astonished, opened at last, fallen in love with solid ground." Let the global vision of Centers for Spiritual Living be your vision for this year. Let's together create a world that works for everyone. And so it is. Thank you. So whatever came to you in the visioning or whatever pops into your head right now, let's take it into prayer. And Diane's going to set the consciousness for us.
I am opening to your love. 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 Safe in your heart, safe in your arms. Safe in your heart, safe in your arms. I am opening to your love. I am opening to your love.
In this holy moment of now, I open to God's love. I remind myself that there is this mighty moving power, the first cause of all creation and nothing else. I remind myself that this one mighty moving power opens hearts and minds, is the creative process both in the universe and the individual, that it is the wholeness of life. And so I speak this word in the first person, knowing my oneness with Source. And I know this for each one here. If there's anything that doesn't fit for you, just let it go. Let it wash over you and take all that does fit. This is what I know is true. I know that I am the wholeness of the divine and called into a greater sense of health, of vitality, of aliveness, of livingness this year. I know that this is the best year yet. I know that my body is a reflection of the divine, and that pattern of wholeness is in every cell, every function, every fiber, every tissue, every organ. that it is the wholeness of life that is moving through me now as a vision of perfect health, free from any addictions, free from anything that would distract me from the greatness of God that I am, that is in me. And furthermore, I know that I am the love of God, and that love is the connecting power between friends, between loved ones. I know that there's more love for me to give this year than ever before, and I give it fully from my heart, from my mind, from my soul. I'm alive with God's love, with God's grace, and with God's goodness. And furthermore, I know that I am the prospering power of that divine. And I know that prosperity includes all good things. And I know that the good I ought to have, I have. I freely circulate my good and accept the overflow, the continuous flow of that wonderful givingness of God. And furthermore, I know that I am one with the creative process, and I consciously create what it is that I desire, what it is that I am called to do, whether it is my ministry, whether it is my practice, whether it is my hobby, that anything that comes through me as creativity is mine, and I share it with the world with love and in divine grace. I know for every business here that there is a flourishing of that business. For every deep desire in every heart, I know that that desire is making its way to the formation through this spiritual practice. For all of this and for everyone here, for God's presence in everyone, I'm so very grateful. For I know that this word has already been answered. And so please help me to ground it by saying with me, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Heather. Now, please welcome